It's so hard to execute and pull off well, and the final ban, the Annie as well.
I mean, it does set up nicely here for the Moakai, though, even though the Des was kind of hinting on, hey, set Yike up for success. He's been a big carry, and honestly, he's looked very impressive, even on picks like the Poppy, but it does mean Moakai just so incredibly strong at the moment for setting up those team fights and going back to getting those AD carries into a good position, but that's on Lulu.
Something I also appreciate about G2 is that they're also willing to go crazy with the support picks, right? And I do think that if you end up without a Moakai, but with a tank, or rather a carry jungler, and that kind of limits what Mickey can do.
Now the question is, will Hansama want to run that Draven? For the majority of games G2 have played, Draven has been banned out. He has played it twice. He's not picked up a win yet, though.
I'd love to see a Draven Blitzcrank, like, just go all in on that hyper-aggression. But we have seen that Hansama, even over the last couple of games, has kind of defaulted back towards what this meta has been training towards. Jinxes, the Aphelioses, and he's going to respond with the same.
I mean, Jinx, 6 games played so far, 5 of them victories. This will be the 7th time Chronicler's locked in.
And the main reason why I don't mind the Jinx as much is because I think even though when it comes to laning, we have seen the Draven be very successful, actually turning it into meaningful advantages has been kind of a recurring theme and a problem for a lot of the teams. But still a little bit of spice for you, Dagda. There it is.
I love the Blitzcrank. We've seen this crop up more and more as an answer into the Lulu, and oftentimes why we kind of seen Lulu being taken as that third pick on red side, where you can actually ban away some of these big support picks. But that does set up a lot here, and I'm really curious to see if Ksante manages to slip through, because he has been so incredibly strong. We've even seen Bin starting to bring it out into the top lane, and it would suit Yagao's pick as well.
London, Copperbox, Dagda, how many games has Mickey played on Blitzcrank in his career, in his years as a professional?
It's either really large or really small.
3 games!
3!
3 games! This will be his 4th. He's won 2 of those previous 3. And of course, Wukong will be locked in for the next one.
Yeah, Wukong, not surprisingly, we've seen a lot of Wukong combined with the Lulu. If you're on the offensive, you can really use that combo to go for an frankly unfair amount of knockups. I also think that Jinx, even though ideally you'd like to combine her with Peel, Moakai can kind of fulfill that role as well, particularly into what BLG has already drafted. This is very short range, and Moakai can make it really hard to try and collapse together on an AD carry like Jinx.
I am surprised, though, on the upside to see the AD carries being continued to be banned away here. Look, yes, you've got the Moakai, Tristana does slide into the mid lane, but when we think of Caps both domestically and at this tournament, he's been slotting way more into those more facilitator styles, right? Like the Nautiluses, the Annies, the Lissandras. It hasn't really been him trying to set himself up as a carry. Now, obviously, you can default back to the things like the Jace, but even at the domestic level, I wasn't really impressed with his Jace.
Also, CG2 here going for the Gnar ban. Gnar is one of the picks that I do think, particularly with Cannon Gun, you can just pick in any situation. Gives BLG a lot more space in the draft if they can just go R for Gnar. You know, we have faith in Bin to play well on this no matter what, and it opens up the space for Yagao, because I do think that as much as the carry performances from these 2 top laners have been really big, the tournament meta still centers around bot lane, and if you can't have priority in mid, if you can't make plays through that, keeping your bot lane even, or at the very, or ahead, or at least even, becomes really, really hard.
And the question I'm going to have now is, BLG, what do they lock in? One would assume a safe mid to allow the counter for top.
It's definitely going to be an Ahri. It's so strong with the Wukong. It's managed to slip its way through. Yagao has played that a heap. And it just, as you say, sets up incredibly well for both the mid-jungle combo. But even when you get into team fights, having that dive threat to get onto the Jinx, the backline, but actually not going to be the case. Immediately going to go towards the Sylas, so wanting to get access to that Moakai ultimate.
And that is a blind Sylas. That is a vote of confidence, because this is a pick that can really struggle when he is unable to get anything done in early skirmishes, when he's unable to get anything done in the early laning phase. And we'll see what Caps' response bit. Secondly, Broken Blade is gonna have to blind something here, and I would love for it to be the Gragas. Can of course go to mid, but Gragas top is so hard to take down, particularly with the Gnar already banned.
Yeah, and I think that is probably going to be the case, but I think this Sylas pick is a bit of a call out to Caps, right? Just saying, look, we know that you don't really have anything that could be that big carry. If you want to go towards the Lissandra, well, Sylas does well into that. If you want to take the Gragas, which he's already played in the mid lane, that's fine into that. So unless he wants to go back towards something like the Aurelion Sol that we've already seen from him, but okay! We're going to get the Yasuo Gragas. This is going to be sick.
I am a little worried about picking a Yasuo and giving over the Yasuo ult to a team with Wukong and Lulu. No, Dagda. But I do think that a lot of this meta thus far has been about team fighting, and Yasuo combined with Gragas gives such insane level of backline threat, and even with a Lulu ultimate, like once you get locked down as Aphelios in that ultimate, there's not a lot that you can do, as I can't believe Ksante makes it to R5. That's actually insane
Yeah.
because the champion has been so incredibly strong.
And I do really like that BLG kind of have gone back towards what we've seen traditionally stepping up as the big meta picks, which is beefy front line, try and enable your Aphelios with something, or a Jinx with something like the Lulu, and just rely on your AD carries, the big hyperscaler. But the problem is when you look across G2, they just have so many threats for Elk. Like when you've got the Gragas cast, when you've got lockup coming through from the Moakai, even just the Blitzcrank hooks over the wall as well, it becomes very difficult for Elk to stay safe. And this is something that, like we saw C9 going for as well, where they'd have Huhi diving the backline in the Rakan, the Yasuo popping off. It just makes this game so difficult for the AD carry to play.
The question I'm going to ask you, Dagda, is this is now the first Yasuo full caps as the time has run down. He's played Nautilus, Annie, Lissandra, Gragas, Aurelion, so predominantly those facilitate champions. This is the first real sort of carry that we've seen from him.
That assassination potential, it doesn't quite work out as G2 are hoping.
Oh, the nerves are so high. Copper Box, thank you for the energy, for the noise. It's the middle of a week here in London, and it is a do-or-die series. The first of 3 wins advances to the next round. The loser is eliminated from MSI 2023.
Would you say it's a Tuesday, you know?
It's a Tuesday here in MSI 2023. As G2 Esports fire out that rocket grab, and you hear the ooze across the Copper Box. Will not find the target there on to Ben. And as we see the rest of the starts, a little bit of an invade on the side of BLG. Going to place themselves a ward, potentially at least, towards this chicken camp. And Cronicler, as we look ahead now to the next few minutes of gameplay, I'm keeping my eyes down the summoner spells. No teleport for Caps. He's got the flash and the ignite. 2 TPs on the side of BLG. What do you make of the early game, how they're going to play out? Obviously, I think bottom lane could be potentially exciting. Rocket grab into the snap trap. There's a lot of CC there, assuming Mickey can find a target.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big question. And as mentioned previously, I think a lot of it comes down to how much can you get done here in mid lane. I do think Mickey and Hans should be able to have early priority and keep Elk and On kind of on the back foot, both because of the range advantage that Jinx has, the shoving advantage, as well as the fact that you need to respect the Blitzcrank hook. But for me, for G2, pre-6, I try to keep it slow. You know, a blitz hook with Yike collapsing notwithstanding, I think that you really need to make sure that you actually are able to utilize the power of that Yasuo, because if you look at the skirmishing power of champions like Ksante, Wukong, and Sylas in like longer drawn-out fights, especially if you add like a Lulu or an Aphelios to that, it can backfire immensely.
And just watching Yike at the moment, he's actually avoiding his red bull for the moment. Knows that there's a ward on it, but I'm curious to see exactly what his pattern is. So we will actually end up showing on it. Did start as Raptors, and that'll give full information now to BLG as to exactly where he started, and will definitely help Elk and On be a little bit safer in this bottom side, especially as you say, because, well, Mickey just going to face check him, but should be able to push to level 2 here, hit that first, and really put the pressure down here.
Also want to highlight that Elk did go for a call, right? So he's feeling good. He's feeling safe. He's just looking to scale, and it puts a little bit more pressure now. Hans can, of course, go for a call after his first back, but will mean that he will be able to cash out on that. Exactly.
It's really weird because it's like when we saw this matchup start to really come out, I think it was in January last year, you'd actually see both teams essentially just going, right, we're going to go full green. Because Aphelios has to start cool, because traditionally Jinx would get the push, Jinx would try and crash fourth wave reset and then get the color herself. But now we kind of just saw both sides handshaking, a lot of it going, hey, we'll both start cool. But if Hansama is going to start the longsword like this, he really wants to make sure that he's getting some damage down and having some threat. Now, he's with the Blitzcrank, so you can have that little bit more threat with the longsword, but you need to make sure you're winning out on that, otherwise you just start to fall behind.
And so far, looks like we're not seeing anything crazy. We do see, as mentioned, Yike will be on the top half of the map. Bin is looking to shove out and see if he can keep himself safe. Although, I gotta say, when it comes to ganks, Ksante is one of the harder ones. And instead, Yike looking to go in here and at the very least get some vision control with that ward. They are aware and might be the wraparound here, trying to take down Bin before he can get the full shove in.
Find out. Bin, however, while he's being targeted, rocket grab connects onto Elk. On's got a good amount of damage back. The root from the gravitum, slowing down the engage. Bin's in trouble, already flash, pushes, Yike under the tower, knocked back from the queue, the burning, the sapling, running, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Bin survives, bot lane survives, no kills secured. All of a sudden, though, there's a tower dive. Hans Summers the target, Munchkin smashed down from Shun. First blood secured, instant reply back as Mickey's got the CC, and his target is from the tower on Shun. He will be able to decoy to safety.
And that's disaster for BLG, or for G2, the fact that they end up giving all those kills across the bot side and getting nothing on the top end.
Oh, yeah, if the top lane gank works out, right, Ksante can still teleport back, but at the very least you get something, but instead you go for a top lane play, it doesn't end up working out. As a result, BLG knows that they can go in, and I think it goes back to that earlier play that we saw, because with Mickey hitting the hook, the short trade looks okay, but by the end of it, they traded health bars, and the moment they realized that Yike is on the top half of the map, BLG's like, we can dive this.
Yeah, and really nice job. And again, the way that Bin ended up playing that top lane gank as well, he had the knockback on his Q3, so made it very difficult for G2 to try and contest him underneath the tower. And I was actually a little bit worried, because I think if he got that knockback onto Yike underneath the tower, Yike goes down, and it ends up being a helpful trade for BLG. So now G2, got to see what they can try and do to pick this back up. You've already got Mickey helping Caps push the wave. They're starting to lean into the spot side, want to try and establish vision in this river.
And of course, the moments before those ganks happened, Cronicler, you were immediately saying, it's hard to gank Ksante. It's difficult to do so. You see exactly why. Been able to fend off that 2v1 in the top lane. Notice on the bottom lane as well, Elk has got himself this Berserker's Greaves already, 40 stacks towards that Cull, and I think the Greaves into Blitzcrank is huge.
Definitely is, but also the fact there's a lack of Cull for Han Sama, so not only do you have the 2 assists now for Elk, he is actually just going to be up a kill, essentially, because of the Cull. So this is really where you're going to start to see Elk just starting to snowball, and a huge amount of this matchup in the bot lane does depend on how quickly can Aphelios get his kill force so he can close the gap onto Jinx, because in the 1v1 trades, he's going to be in a great spot. Yike, though, on this bottom side, spotted out by the ward, so BLG are fully aware that this is happening, but it may not matter.
No, it might, and I think the fact that Yike has just stepped outside of that bush will not see that ward timing out. When he does so, very good heads-up play here from BLG. Like still lingering despite the fact that ward is timed out, so it's a bit of wasted time. You can see he's starting to fall a little bit behind the CS curve. Kill and assist to Shun on that Wukong, who is now stepping into the river. All right, mid lane was shoved up. Caps was able to move first into the river, and with the fact that Mickey and Han Sama pushed in Alk and on, they've started this objective off. Oh. There is a potential engage. Level 5 for Shun, smite available to him. Level 4 for Yike. The engage on to Mickey's going low, forced to flash away to safety. They trade kills, 1 for 1, jungle for support, Dragon down to 1400, and Caps running for his life. He's still holding on to that last breath, waiting for a knockup. Han Sama, level 5, stepping into the pit. There's a smite versus no smite, and the smite secures it. G2 get the objective, and Yike flashes away to safety. Elk has got red, white, that means let's fight! Han Sama flashes over the wall, trying to get the rockets down, and Caps is the target. They get Dragon, but they lose another. 2 for 1 in the fight. The objective goes to G2.
Oh, and the big thing there is that, again, the initial trade looks really good for G2. They are able to take down Shun, which means that, you know, giving up Mickey after he's hooked someone, you're completely fine with that. They go, fortunately, Caps does have his ultimate available, and as a result, they get the kill. But then BLG recognizes that so many cooldowns have already been used, and in the longer trades, when you can get chain after chain after chain, BLG identify that they're stronger, and I think they get the better end of this trade.
It's a 2,000 gold lead at 7.5 minutes, and yes, crucial. Killing Shun allows the Dragon to go down, but now G2, they're looking at Dragon stacking as a primary form of winning.
Yeah, you can see Elk is actually in a great spot for this fight. So he just runs off the purple gun. He has the Infernum there as well, which he's going to be able to swap off of. So having access to 4 different guns across this means he's getting a ton of damage. BLG do try to go for the Dragon, but a bit of a mistake, but we're back to live.
Or indeed, already Cyclone being used. Caps is just solo killed by Shun. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for BLG. In London, things are looking a little scary for G2 Esports.
Yeah, because if you fall this far behind in terms of gold, like the BLG comp, if they can just scrap you continuously, they're going to be so happy, right? Champions like Sylas, like Wukong can snowball incredibly hard, and right now, you're already falling behind everywhere that it matters.
Oh, Mickey is in trouble. Gonna be able to step away, but you can see that a lot of members of G2 are moving up towards this top side. They're aware there's a lot of members of BLG here, and they are worried that Broken Blade may end up being the focus of a dive here. You can see Bane immediately trying to blow out all the waves there, get it crashed underneath the tower, but BLG going to back away. They'll send Elk back to the bot lane, and everything going to go back to normal.
All right, Super Mega Death Rocket was fired there from Han Sama. No flash from him, Caps, or Yike. Targets available for BLG. With the Rift Herald secured in the back pocket of Shun, can drop that in either of those lanes. I'm interested to see where he'll prioritize it. And if there's any tiny silver lining, and please bear with me, Cronicler, forgive me for what I'm about to say.
Hit me.
It's 2 kills for On's Lulu. If there was ever a hopium, it's 2 less kills for Aphelios, okay?
QuickShot,
I'm grabbing at straws.
I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. But there is also an Aphelios with a kill and a Wukong.
I'm aware of that.
Are we gonna...
Let's see what they can do.
2 of those, we're talking 2 kills, right?
2 kills.
On Lulu.
One of which was a solo kill.
So where are
for
2 of the 2 kills that G2 has? Where are they?
You don't need to rub this in, all right? Mickey's Blitzcrank is going to be the difference maker for the 4th time he's ever played this champion. Right now, looking for a target. That wave was pushed in. Even CS across the board. But I think more importantly here is for this composition for G2 to start like thinking about comebacks, they need to stop the bleeding, stop giving over kills, easy peasy, that's like obvious to everyone. But more importantly, I need to see this Yasuo Gragas combination paying off. If they can get to Elk on the back line, maybe there's enough time to make plays for the rest of the squad. Nature's Grasp will force the flash, rocket grab onto On. You used this flash a second ago. Great pick. Remember what I said about Mickey and the kills? He does it for G2, Cronicler.
The goal efficiency from Mickey off the charts there. Very nicely set up play from G2. Yike showing again why you prioritize the Moakai so highly, able to pick that up early, and then with plays like this, particularly as we saw with the position that Yike had of his ultimate, not a lot they can do, no one from BLG can assist, and it's these type of gold influxes that are critical for G2 if they don't want to lose full control of the map.
Especially if they can get them onto that bottom side. A bit sad that Handsome doesn't manage to pick up the kill, but I think you can just try and rinse and repeat this. And On like ends up flashing underneath the tower, then blocks the hook for Elk, so he just has nowhere left to go. But again, BLG now, they want to try and respond. They want to try and get Shun into this bot lane. We'll spot out MikyX. You even got Yagao, who's on the way as well.
Look at that minimap. You called it, Dagda, perfectly.
Oh!
Right, the hook connects. Shun is nearby, Cyclone's available, gets the knockup. Hansam is able to escape for now. Mickey is taken down where he stands. Hansam needs a few more seconds before it's available. Yagao will steal away the Super Mega Death Rocket and it's sidestepped. All of a sudden, Yike looking for the re-engage.
We got the TP coming through. Broken Blade is here. Caps inside. Can they get the knock-off?
Explosive Cask is available. Where's it going? Broken Blade.
There it is!
On against the wall. 2 members knocked up, but there's not enough damage. There's not enough follow-up. It's G2 that lose their mid laner. Another kill secured for On, and BLG are in full control.
And they throw everything at them. G2 desperately tries to get a kill, get someone.
Hey!
At the end. But the play still very much in favor of BLG. They're able to again make use of G2 not being ready. The hook comes through, everything looks okay. But then if Yagao and Shun are so far ahead of the play, that doesn't matter.
But the hook comes through and gets Elk into range to CC them. He is the gravitum, he's able to do it. Yagao underneath the tower here though. The G2 want to go forward. Shun is spotted on the wing.
I don't know how much damage there is, Dagda. You can feel the tension building up. The minion wave is going to be cleared out there by Yagao. He'll pick that up. 0-0-3, got a 700 gold lead. Look at the gold advantages at the bottom of your screen. Almost every single member of BLG ahead of their opposite number.
Well, and this, what the observers are showing us here, great job on them, is really, really important because that previous play was already better for BLG, I think, just looking at what happened on bot lane. But Broken Blade TP'd in. Bin has just been slamming against the turret as Shun.
Well, Shun is the target. 2, 1, and 4. Warrior tricks to buy some time. Moonlight Vigil comes out. Yike gets his second. On gets turned off. And G2 find 2 picks.
And just like that, the Blitzcrank starting to do work. BLG had started to run away with this, as you're pointing out, Cronicler, getting all these plates, getting this goal. BLG were starting to pick up steam, but Mickey says no and puts a fist into their face.
Does Yagao fight this? Does Yagao fight this? He's hijacked the Nature's Grasp, and he's using G2's weapons against them. That's a route onto 2. The rocket grab catches onto Elk, and Mickey goes down, but Hansama finds the kill. The second dragon goes to G2 Esports, and they are not done yet. It is still a 3,000 goal deficit, but G2 have got 2 crucial objectives on the board.
Also getting plates on the top side. They left Caps up on the top end, so he's managed to steal away a couple of those plates up there as well. They're trying to make sure they can get this gold influx into Caps at the moment, because look, let's be real, it hasn't been the best of starts for him, but at least G2, they're winning out on the map again. Shun, though, wants to make sure Caps gets punished for it.
He's done this already. Shun's already found 1 solo kill, forces the flash early. Steel Tempest slowly being charged, support's coming from On as well as Bin. Caps will slide backwards once more, use the minions to help out, and Shun is blocked by the minions.
Caps ends up dodging into him, misses the knock-up, and Shun goes, ah, look, you deserve to get away with it. I'll knock the minion instead.
Oh, listen to London getting excited, starting to feel the energy, but please, please, please keep looking at the top of the screen. It is now a 4,000 gold lead for BLG.
And this ties in, right? Like, I love this play from G2. They're able to catch BLG off guard, and we've seen that in these type of skirmishes, being able to catch some of these LPL and LCK teams off guard can be a route for success. They're able to crucially get those 2 kills, but then it comes down to what happens in the longer run, right? Because this re-engage here from BLG is they're able to, even with Elk dying, trade back.
Yeah, they do get one here, and at least that they're able to get Yike as well. So BLG do get something, but I still think with G2, the fact they're making these picks, the fact that they're being able to play around Mickey is exactly how they need to start playing this, and might need to find more here.
Oh, I'm starting to be scared as Yike gets jumped on by Bin. Goal difference at 14, you can see significantly in favor of Bin. Repeating that awful replay that Shox made us all watch from years gone by as they're taking control. Rift Herald number 2 has been started. Cronicler, do you reckon G2 want this fight?
Look at Elk's positioning. If you can't get to him, you can't win the fight. The rest of them standing in front of him.
Ghost and Flash available. Nature's Grasp. I think that's fantastic from Yike. Managing to split up BLG. Herald secured. Rocket grab. Pulls back Yagao. He goes golden thanks to the stopwatch. Broken Blade holding on to the ult. Separates them out. The breath is lost, and that's one on the board. Getting excited for Hans Summer, who remains untouched. They lose Caps in the fight, but a second kill is secured. Hans Summer gets pushed by the all-out, but it's a 3rd kill secured for G2. They get the objective. They get the kills, and G2 are clawing their way back.
Huge win there for G2. They're able to keep Elk away from the fight. Shout out to Broken Blade there. Was consistently hiding around, and because of him, Elk couldn't walk up, which means that even though they came close, they couldn't get the damage.
20 kills in 15 minutes. This is exactly how we anticipated the game to be played out, and this is a good thing for G2. Scrappy, messy, 5 kills for the Jinx, and that is the win con here for G2 Esports.
And this is the moment when Hans Sama has to step up. He was there in that fight, free firing the entire time, and that's what G2's composition wants to do. Put threat onto Elk, and as Cronicler was pointing out, Elk wasn't able to play this fight. Already locked up by the Moakai ultimate on the top side. That's where they were able to get the Rift Herald here initially, and then as Elk starts to come through, Broken Blade is just threatening this ult the whole time, which means that then the rest of G2 can deal with the front line.
I want to highlight here as well, Yagao going in, kind of independent from the rest of the team, going for a stopwatch bait, but then because of the wind wall, there is no follow-up, right? And with Broken Blade hiding around there, you see the damage just isn't there.
I think I missed it. I think Mickey hooked him with the rocket grab, or it was his chains, right?
No, he hooked him mid-chains as Mickey.
Manages to get caught, and look, once again, following Mickey, damage there onto Bin. 0, 1 and 6, correction, 1-1-1 rather, as Bin is now running for his life, pulled backwards, and that's another kill. The 6th secured. By the way, that cull does not matter. The laning phase is irrelevant because Hans Sama, 6 kills, 5 assists, has now actually overtaken ADC Aphelios in terms of total goals.
BLG just need to stay away from River. River is not a good place for BLG. Every time they've tried to walk through here, someone on their side has got caught, and it's given G2 these opportunities to bring this game back again. Look, Caps is 0-4. He's picking up these sidewaves, though. Again, he needs to be the big one if he wants to try and have that assassination.
10 out of 11 kills Mickey has been involved in. So yes, I concur with you that while BLG are around River, things go bad. But let's put some respect on Mickey's name for this champion that we do not associate with him, that we haven't seen from him. This is his 4th time ever, is finding those picks and bringing G2 back. That 4,000 gold lead is now down to 1,000, which is being less and less relevant.
And, teleport coming in, Drake coming up.
Drake's
Mountain Drake's really big here for either team.
All right, target's gonna be Yike. Shun starts off that cyclone. Multiple members from both sides grouping up. Nature's Grasp down, Yagao's hijacked his, it's blocked by the wind wall. G2 have lost a member, the barrel into the pit. Elk is the focus, but he flashes over the wall. He's on the other side of the rift, the G2 Esports are split, they're routed, and G2 are wrecked. Yes, there's one back there for Caps. Mickey may have saved his mid laner's life for now. The Ignite is tick, tick, tick burning, and Elk gets himself another. In the blink of an eye, BLG dominate G2, and with one more kill, they will ace this fight.
Everyone went for Elk, but he spooked. He hopped over the wall just as everyone in G2 went into the pit, and he manages to escape, manages to get the damage off, where it's then Hansama who's caught between a rock and a hard place, and it's the G2 AD carry who falls.
And at the top of the day, we're talking about this Yasuo, right? What happens if he falls behind? I think we saw it right there. We're going to see in the replay as well, but if I saw correctly, Hans flashed over the wall just to try and get the kill on top of Elk, and then when they were unable to, it just meant that very quickly the fight snowballed decidedly in their favor. This starts with Shun getting caught by Yike, quote unquote, but as it turns out, he has more than enough backup available. Yagao hitting the chain, and then you're fighting in this narrow corridor, and look at Elk here again.
Yeah, the fact you managed to get onto him, but there's just no damage coming through, so Hansama flashes over the wall, and everyone now is on the wrong side for G2. So Elk manages to come back around, and it's split off into these skirmishes where Elk is just in a fantastic spot with that red gun to heal himself back up and win out on the fight.
And once you start losing these fights, once you start losing control, both these compositions lose so much. Because as we can see there, BLG, if they can find movement over walls, if they can get on the enemy backline, they're really strong. But for G2, if Mickey doesn't have an opportunity to hook someone at the start of a fight, your Blitzcrank loses so much power.
Yagao also flashing the FPX logo at the end of that fight, maybe reminding them a little bit of 2019, so a little bit of BM from the BLG mid laner, but we'll have to see now if BLG can try and keep this one up. Again, Mickey has been so on point when he manages to find these hooks to get into position to find picks, claw them back into this game, but he really needs to get it going now because at this stage, BLG, with a 3K gold lead, are starting to pick up pace.
And what's important as well is I want to highlight again, the main difference thus far between teams like G2 and Team BLG this tournament has been how do you actually play around your AD carry? And everyone on BLG was ready, right? Drawing attention, making sure that Elk could stay safe, trying to keep people away from him. And G2 needs to find a way where they can enable Hansama because his gold, his individual performance isn't the problem. But with the amount of backline dive that BLG has, as soon as anything hits, he's a goner.
The thing I love as well is both of these teams are willing to just throw down. Because while obviously all of BLG were there to back up, find that initiation on the Yike, the moment Elk flashed over the wall, it was after multiple G2 members have flashed into the Dragon Pit. So while, yes, they were playing around him well, G2 chasing it so hard, not finding that instant burst, right? It meant that BLG won, so that gold lead is ballooned once more. They picked up the Mountain Dragon as well. And now Mickey, yes, he's found the rocket grab. Hansama with the zap, the static field down. Nature's Grasp is flying, but there's not enough backup. Broken Blade and Bin, they are fighting in the bottom lane. We're 21 minutes in, so London, Copperbox, if this meta has taught me anything, it's time to prep the Baron throws.
That's exactly what I'm about to say, because I think Yike using that ultimate, well, it might be a big go button for BLG. They don't have the great guns on towards Elk at the moment, but the fact that you have that Moakai ult down is why BLG are now starting to congregate around this Baron area. You have to be so careful as G2. Look, yes, you can look for picks, but if you end up throwing out all these ultimates willy-nilly, BLG are not going to be shy of just going towards us.
Crucially though, Yike and the rest of his team are able to retake control of their jungle, and these pockets of vision are going to remain extremely relevant, right? Particularly on a Mountain Rift, you need to be able to either get to either one of these two presidents, be it Hansama, be it Elk, and if you lose full control of your jungle, you are in deep trouble, right? BLG there though, because I think it was on and Yagao already taken fairly low. Not going to pull the trigger right now, which I do think is a good call because this gold lead, while it's there for BLG, a 3.5K gold lead at this point, particularly with how explosive these two comps are, isn't going to matter.
Yeah, and I think as well, look at the level difference here. Yagao, with that rower, he's going to have the, yeah, interesting. Was that Hex Flash or Actual Flash?
I think that was his actual flash. I think he basically thought he'd have Hex Flash just as it came up, but I could be wrong.
Right, well, either way, level 2 level advantage for Yagao over Caps. It's mirrored by 1 advantage for Broken Blade over Bin. Teleport's available for both top laners, and reminder, Caps does not have teleport, so this will limit some of the side lane plays. Yike, Nature's Grasp was available, rocket grab, falling just short, and look at the minimap. Bin is grouping up with the rest of the squad. Yagao pushing top lane. So we started this focus or this attention towards Baron.
But this is the thing, I think for BLG, they've been so heavy reliant all year on being on a carry, whether it's Jax, whether it's something that can actually threaten the side lane. This isn't BLG's comfort zone, where they actually have been on a Ksante. You didn't play it a huge amount throughout the split, so now it feels like BLG aren't really sure what they're supposed to be doing, because they don't have that mega threat in the side lane that they can rely on in Bin, and it's just kind of been this back and forth, hey, yeah, we'll push waves and kind of ARAM a little, but they're not actually getting a huge amount done. Look, Dragon isn't 15 seconds, they can play towards that, but it definitely feels like BLG are a bit unsure about what they want to do.
I mean, both teams have shown a penchant towards playing for that Dragon, and you can see on the minimap, Shun making his way into G2's territory, placing some wards behind the pit. Question I have is, do G2 want to start the Baron while Dragon is started, or do they want to contest? Right now, G2's leaning towards that Baron objective.
Yeah, they are, and I think they should, right? BLG getting an individual Drake, not worth it, but that does mean that as soon as G2 identify that Shun isn't there, they need to actually pull the trigger, because if you give Shun enough time, he's just gonna get the Dragon, and right now, they either need to try and hard commit or start the Baron. And we do see, though, Shun is peeling off.
Yeah, he's trying to play back and forth, has left the Dragon as they know G2 started this.
There we go.
Yeah, but now, look, BLG, they're fine walking in here. There isn't a huge amount of vision, but
Nature's God's been used. Reminder, Wind Wall still available. Baron's gone so low. Inside the pit, G2 have secured it, but can they finish the fight?
Oh my God.
Vigil has done so much damage. The Cyclone behind Elk is wrecking G2 Esports, and they are dominating.
you wanted a Baron throw, and G2 were willing to give it to you. They sit in the pit, the Infernum comes through, and G2 are wiped.
I'm gonna call not worth, guys. I don't know about you, but Yike gets a shutdown.
Well, he's got himself one. He will be taken out by Elk for the 8th time. That's 8 kills secured for ADC Aphelios. They managed to ace G2. The Barons are removed from the map. The bottom lane is under pressure once Bin teleported in. And we find another instance in this tournament where a Baron turns completely awry.
And I think crucial there is that G2, I think you can pull it off, but you have to pull the trigger earlier, right? Because by the time that they started the Baron, Shun was already halfway there. And we know the team fighting power is nicely done.
That was really nicely done.
The team fighting power of BLG is more than enough. Look, by the time, yes, this Baron goes down fast. Yes, they have the Moakai ult, which doesn't actually get that much done. But crucially, BLG can start this fight knowing that their Wukong is about to arrive, and Elk. Oh,
I just love the sidestep to get that Moonlight Vigil past the Wind Wall.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, at this stage, it's just, you're already kind of stuck as G2. You've committed so heavily forward, and BLG are so happy to go in. You've got a bunch of AoE from Yagao. You've got the Wukong is in there. And then, as you say, the Infernum, too, is so much damage. And two different sides of the same coin there in the crowd.
Duality of fandom. BLG is celebrating. They still maintain control. 4,000 gold up. They got that Dragon to boot. They've still got 3 towers under their belt. G2 will get a small piece back, at least taking that bottom outer. Now they have to try to defend, and more importantly for me, 3 items complete for both of these bot laners. While yes, G2 are in a difficult situation, if they are able to find Elk, they can still do it. They just haven't shown me a capability, as all of a sudden Mickey's the next target. He's below 1,000, he's below 500. Elk is godlike. His 9th kill of the game, and in a 5 versus 4, BLG continue to pressure forward. 5-man stack in this middle lane.
Particularly when you get these Mountain Drakes, when you start stacking them, one of the biggest win conditions for G2, which is kill Elk, becomes so much harder as the ultimate.
I love that hijacks away from the Nature's Gods. Caps is low, Hun Summer's low. Moonlight Vigil puts them down. While Hun Summer's got one back, the follow-up damage is simply too much to deal with. Yike's trying to clear out that minion wave as Caps has found himself a route to safety. 4 members down. Mickey's up in 3 seconds' time. G2 are holding on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, no wave and no AD carry here for BLG will definitely slow them down a little bit though. So I think for G2, they will lose the inhibitor, but I imagine BLG will then back away after this one. The fact that Elk went that deep to try and kill Hansama definitely gave them that opportunity to just hold on that bit longer.
Oh, they were trying that. Yeah, they were looking for the final push. G2 is able to hold on, at least for now. That play started off though with Broken Blade trying to look for a TP flank, which I think is the right angle to try and take right now. But BLG are playing still respectful, and I think you can also start to see them as we get deeper and deeper into this game kind of take into account that you can't just discredit G2, but because they are ready, there's not a lot to be done, as even some of the tankier members can't withstand the might of Elk.
Yeah, and then Elk just going ham here, goes immediately onto G2 and hands ham. Even the fact he manages to get the kill here at all is insane.
I mean, I love the fact that it's literally the Gravitum, the Binding Eclipse that roots it. That's your initiation, so everybody knows that, you know? The Aphelios pick. More importantly for me, if you remember how this game started, it was BLG winning on the top. They survived the gank. BLG, setting up the dive in the bot lane. It then turned into utter chaos. And I think crucially, BLG have slowed the game down.
Yeah.
They have managed to play the skirmishes later and later after Dagda made it very clear, just stay the heck out of the river. I think BLG have managed to find and set up these team fights and these skirmishes that are in their favor.
It's also very telling, as Dagda was saying, this BLG, they're not playing for sides. This is just straight up continuous 5v5ing, out team fighting your opponent. And it's something that, even in the series against JDG, we saw them try and pivot away from. In this game, not the case.
And I think now BLG, they're in a great spot. Again, yes, you've got 2 items onto Caps, but he hasn't really been a threat for BLG all game long. So that wing we had a Broken Blade trying to assassinate Elf isn't really there. And G2 trying to step up to defend this tower.
Yagao's got the barrel. Yagao's hijacked it away. He catches Broken Blade with his own ability. Nature's Cross comes down. It's too little. It might be too late. Elk has slain yet another. 20 of his 25 team's kills involved. Pick up another. The tower falls as well. And while Hansama remains untouched, it simply does not matter. He gets 1 kill onto Shun before Elk takes him down. Elk goes golden using that stopwatch with 1 more kill. The ace secured once more for BLG. They are inside the base and teleporting to the Nexus. BLG looking to start this series with a 1-0 lead.
It was close until it just was not. BLG, they flashed the FPX logo once more. They're looking to close out the game 1.
Fantastic, chaotic, entertaining, and it's BLG that strike first.
Almost 45 kills in about 30 minutes. It is exactly the type of game we expected. And in the end, BLG is able to slow down some of the G2 shenanigans, is able to actually set up the 5v5 team fights, and from that point on, they did not relinquish control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that Baron call from G2 was just not it. You end up with an Infernum Aphelios in the middle of everyone, plus the fact that you don't really have any way of getting out of the pit at that stage, buying space for Hansama, so BLG happy to take that one and close out this first game, but I think it's going to have to go back to the drawing board for G2. Caps once more, this Yasuo wasn't it. That wasn't the performance that we needed from him.
The frustrating thing for me as well is that while, yes, he didn't find the impact, I think it is also crucial to acknowledge the fact that by 5 minutes into the game, top and bottom lane were effectively like sort of behind or struggling, right? So much like the analyst desk was saying when Broken Blade was playing the Casio, it's like, guys, what's happening? Guys, his middle and bottom lane were really struggling, and Broken Blade had to bring the team back. Yasuo and Caps were not able to replicate that performance we saw from Broken Blade and Casio. So how do they do it now? I think it'll be interesting to see whether we go blue side again or red side. With G2 losing game number 1, they will have side selection. I wouldn't be surprised to see a red side to allow multiple counter picks. I just don't know what the team is thinking right now because they have a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah, it also goes back to trying to reduce unforced errors, right? Like Shun getting 3 kills, which means that he walks up to the first skirmish or big fight with a Divine Sunderer. Yes. Those are make or break moments. And if you're not able to deny those and play the cleanest game, even if you're able to find some early skirmishes, you're still going to get out-traded on the rest of the map.
Well, gentlemen, I sincerely hope we get more team fights and more action throughout the course of the series. For now,